Good morning, and welcome to NC Idea's 2020 Statewide Entrepreneurship Ecosystem Summit, our second summit, following up on last year's inaugural event that brought 500 people together in Raleigh. And just like last year, this year's summit is an official kickoff event for Global Entrepreneurship Week, or GEW as it is better known. For those that don't know, GEW, a program of the Kauffman Foundation, is a collection of tens of thousands of events each November that help inspire millions to explore their potential as an entrepreneur. It is also an opportunity to educate the public of the economic benefits of supporting people's entrepreneurial aspirations. So, as our opening video illustrated, 2020, right? We've seen a great deal of change and challenges. And speaking of those challenges, as great as it is to be together, once again, at the risk of stating the obvious, a virtual event wasn't our first choice. But the new reality we have coped with in 2020 has forced us all to rethink assumptions and reset expectations. Hence, this year's theme for the summit practically wrote itself, and it was obvious. So today, we will focus on the things that have forced us all to rethink our priorities, our approach, and the impact of our work. Specifically, we will rethink how do we support people working to start and grow companies during a pandemic that has strained so much for so many. We're also going to rethink how we include more people into the economic opportunity provided by entrepreneurship. What does diversity, equity, and inclusion look like when it is adequately prioritized? We're going to go deep on that topic over the next couple of days. Finally, we will consider what have we learned in order to function during a pandemic, perhaps making us more resilient for the next one. After all, we've learned a few things. For one thing, we've all gotten better at lighting and acoustics when it comes to video conferencing. We have looked into the homes of our colleagues, seen the occasional spouse, child, or pet walk into view, maybe even paused for a moment as a package gets delivered. And we've been okay with that. Which reminds me, today's grand production relies on people and their internet connections from around the world. For example, the production staff that will be ushering people on screen and off today, they're in the United Kingdom, England specifically. Thank you, Dominic. The speakers you will hear from today and tomorrow, well, they'll be joining us from around the country as well. And again, everyone will be subject to the grace and good humor of the internet gods. So I won't be surprised if we experience a glitch or two over the next couple days. And I would ask for your patience and understanding if that should happen. Speaking of being remote, it was March 16th when we had our last in-person full staff meeting, after which we sent everyone to work from home. But despite the many accommodations we have had to make, our work did not slow down. On the contrary, our fiscal year 2020, which concluded on June 30th, our fiscal year runs from July 1 to June 30. But the fiscal year 2020 concluded with the foundation having its most productive year in its history, as measured by grants made, funds distributed, and people served. And more exciting than that, our current fiscal year, 2021, which is nearly half over, is on pace to exceed last year's performance. If you detect a modicum of pride in that statement, you would be correct. And that can't be accomplished without inspired leadership from an optimistic board of directors, of which I will speak more later, and unwavering dedication from a team of incredibly talented individuals. So, before I go any further, I need to take a moment to recognize the team at NC Idea. Having done this type of work for many years now, I can tell you this team is the best I've worked with. John, Amy, Andrea, Sarah, Ben, Daisy, Chelsea and Aya, I can't wait to see the things we will accomplish in the future. You have rendered COVID powerless to impede your work, and nothing has kept you from our mission to help the people of North Carolina realize their entrepreneurial potential. And I sincerely thank you for it. And specific to this very complex undertaking, I need to ask a few folks to step in front of the camera to be recognized for the hard work that goes into planning such an event. Come on in. This is the incredible team. I'm going to move off here because I'm not wearing the mask. This is the incredible team that made that happen. Sarah, Daisy, Caroline, Margaret. I also need to recognize our other colleague, Andrea, who is at an undisclosed location, making sure all the social media is tended to. Thank you, Summit team. Oh, with you, your branded mask too. How nice. Cool. Thank you. Finally, I need to thank other people that help us do what we do. Specifically, I'm talking about our grantees, our ecosystem partners, our fellows and mentors and core reviewers, speakers and supporters. Our efforts wouldn't be nearly as productive without your engagement. You are our secret sauce, and we are genuinely grateful. Many, many sincere thanks. I mentioned we've been busy, so I thought I would take a moment to share what we've been up to. For those that may not know the full scope of what we do, please let me offer a brief summary. NCIDEA is an independent private foundation. That is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. From a modest amount of our own funding, professionally managed and invested, we fund our grants and programs. Since 2005, we have offered direct grant funding to people attempting to start and grow companies of high economic potential. We focus on growth-oriented companies because those are the firms that generate good-paying jobs, and lots of them. Those companies and their jobs also create vital tax revenues that fund the amenities of well-functioning communities, the community assets and services we all want and depend on. In addition to funding, we also offered vital early-stage training for individuals that were considering the entrepreneurial path. Through a rigorous curriculum that focuses on customer discovery and product market fit, we help many companies start on the right foot. And we even helped a few folks along the way think twice about taking the plunge, which I should say is a good outcome too. After all, wouldn't you rather find out sooner if your idea has significant limitations, or maybe that you underestimated what it would take to start a company? I mean, like before you raise your retirement savings or put yourself into deep debt? So when I joined the foundation in March of 2016, we began to expand on our offerings. One of the new programs we launched at that time, which is now in its third iteration, is our statewide ecosystem partner program. Through the ecosystem program, we have funded over 36 organizations around the state who are likewise focused on helping people become economically independent through entrepreneurship. Hopefully by year's end, we will be adding another dozen or more partners into this growing team of groups that, when taken collectively, rival the economic development efforts of any state in the nation. By joining forces, sharing best practices, leveraging each other's strengths, and united by common priorities, we are capable of greater accomplishments, punching well above our weight, so to speak. But we weren't satisfied there, as we are always asking, how do we have greater impact? So we reimagined the SEED grant program, which is our $50,000 flagship program. And we asked ourselves, how could we get greater participation from our rural communities and Black and female founders, groups that have been historically underserved? This meant we needed to support people much earlier than we had, maybe even as early as the idea stage. This ultimately led to the creation of the microgrant program that now runs concurrently with the SEED grant program, but is much earlier, and for smaller grants of $10,000. And again, with a smidgen of pride, I will say that over 70% of our micro grant funding is going to minority, female, and or rural community founders. As we learned with Seed and Micro, we also learned with the Ecosystem Partner Program. Namely, maybe if we supported more nascent community efforts to promote entrepreneurship, we would see more organizations grow and scale to serve more people. Hence, we launched the Engage Grant Program to offer modest funding for events and training that promotes entrepreneurship within specific communities. Several of the organizations that have or will be receiving an ecosystem grant next month first became known to us through an Engage grant. So we have programs to train entrepreneurs, which are Labs and SOAR. We have programs to fund entrepreneurs, namely Seed and Micro. And we have programs to strengthen entrepreneurship statewide, specifically ecosystem and Engage grants. With a solid funnel now built, we needed a way to fill the top of the funnel, which we are doing through a community outreach entrepreneurial mindset program called the Ice House Entrepreneurship Program. Ice House is a book and companion course meant to empower people with the unlimited potential of an entrepreneurial mindset. Developed in partnership with the Kauffman Foundation and the Entrepreneurial Learning Initiative, the program helps individuals discover the underlying beliefs and assumptions that successful people use to overcome limitations and circumstances and succeed in life. The program has been adapted for use by universities, community colleges, public K-12 school districts, the judicially involved, workforce development training, and a host of other applications, in addition to being translated into Spanish. We have publicly committed to a Herculean goal of educating 100,000 people in the state of North Carolina with this program. I cannot stress enough that an entrepreneurial mindset is a life skill and not a business skill. As we empower more people with this program, some number of them, with the help of other programs and partners, will start and grow companies of great economic impact for the state. Finally, and most recently, we started a new program that I believe has the potential to be, frankly, a national exemplar for inclusive economic development. I'm referring to the creation of the North Carolina Black Entrepreneurship Council. This program of NC IDEA is being led by a group of 25 accomplished individuals from around the state who will be leading our funding and programmatic efforts to promote Black entrepreneurship in North Carolina. I am hopeful that with the help of other organizations, we can make North Carolina the best state in the nation for Black founders to start and grow companies of great promise. We'll be hearing more from the members of the council later in the summit, so I will stop stealing their thunder for now. And as a matter of fact, that is probably enough about us. It's now time to learn about other folks doing great work. As I mentioned last year in Raleigh, our intention is to move the annual summit around the state in order to highlight a particular region. This year, the summit was going to be at the Benton Convention Center in downtown Winston-Salem, which is just one block over from 500 West 5th Street, home to several great organizations and programs helping a diverse group of entrepreneurs. Since we all couldn't converge on Winston-Salem, we took a video crew dressed in our finest masks and visited 500 West 5th Street on a beautiful fall day to see firsthand the many exciting things happening there. Please enjoy this video.